Okay, how's it going, everybody? All right, so YieldMax has announced their distributions for the funds of funds in the Ultra ETFs. So YMAX has a yield of 67.17%, and YMAG is giving us 53.84%, and the ULTY is giving us an awesome 104.91%. So today we're going to talk about um, the yields, giving you some information about these yields, and then we're going to look at, if you had a certain number of shares, what you could expect as your payout. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and we're going to get right to it. All right, so next we have here YieldMax ETFs seek to generate monthly income by pursuing, option-based strategies on one or more underlying securities. YieldMax ETFs aim to harvest compelling yields from assets that are not typically associated with monthly income. Now, these are pretty decent monthly incomes. They're a little bit above the what you would consider what used to be high yielding incomes. Generally, monthly high yielding income will be considered between somewhere maybe 7 and maybe 12%. But here we see that our yields were above 50% and right above 100%. Now these are going to become, as you may or may not know, these are also going to become weekly um, payouts for YieldMax funds of funds. Now it says the funds do not invest directly in the underlying stock or ETF. Now the declaration date is September the 18th. You would have to own these on the 18th. If I'm not mistaken, if you own these by the 19th, then you won't get paid out for this month, which the payout date is going to be on September the 20th. So we have a declaration date of the 18th, EX date of the 19th, and the payout date of the 20th. Now you would need to own these before the 19th in order to get paid by the 20th. Now when we look at these three funds, the highest yielding for this month is going to be ULTY with 98 with 0.9825 cent or 98 cents basically. That's what it is, people. That's what it is. So that's very high. That's a very high yielding payout for the three funds. And now we have the lowest of the three funds, which is YMAG, and it's paying out 19 cents, basically right at 20 cents. So of the three, we got the highest and we got the lowest. All right, so moving right along, these funds, these prices vary each month depending on the underlying stock of how it performs. Now, if you should have to own some of the above ETFs, here's a roundabout payout you should receive. Below, you will see what you would get if you were to own these shares multiplied by the price per share. All right. So the first one we have here is YieldMax. So on here at YieldMax, if you own 50 shares at the payout of 22 cents, you will get $11 for the 20th. If you own 100 shares at the current dividend payout, you will own $22.70. If you had 500 shares at the current dividend payout, you will have $113.50. If you had 1,000 shares at $22.70, you will have $227. If you happen to own 2,000 shares of YMAG, that would be at the current dividend payout of $22.70, that would be $454. Now, if you were very fortunate and you have 5,000 shares, which is a lot, people, at the current dividend payout, that would be 400. No, that's incorrect. Let's get this. That's incorrect. Hold on. I did not update this information. Okay. So now looking at the first fund, which is going to be YieldMax, we can see here that if you own 50 shares of YMAX at 2270.2270, you will get $11.35. Amen. So if you had 100 shares, you would get at 22 cents, you would get $22.70. If you had 500 shares at 22.70, you would have $113.50. All right. So if you had 1,000 shares, now you putting some money in right now. All right. So you got at the current price of 22.70, you will have $227. At 2,000 shares, if you happen to own 2,000 shares at 22.70, you would have a payout of 454. Now, if you had 5,000 shares of YMAX at 22.70, you would get a payout on the 20 of $1,135. Now, if you had the grand price of 10,000 shares here, all right, which would be a lot of money at 22 cents, you would be looking at $2,270. Amen. So that is a nice payout, ladies and gentlemen. That is a nice payout if you own those shares. Now, next we have YMAG. All right, so YMAG paid out 1979. All right, so if you had 50 shares at 1979, you would have got $9.90. All right, at 100 shares, you're looking at 1979, you're looking at $19.79. If you happen to own 500 shares at 1979, you would get a payout of $98.95. And if you had 1,000 shares at 1979, you're looking at $197.90. Getting higher on up the scale, 2,000 shares at 1979 would be $395.80. At 5,000 shares, you're looking at a price of 1979, you will get a payout of $989.50. Now, for the grand master of them all, if you should happen to be fortunate and have enough money to get 10,000 shares, we can dream, people, we can dream. At 1979, that would be $1,979, which is a nice payout. And like I said, these are going to be weekly. So imagine if you own that many shares and you was getting this weekly payout. Now, ULTY. We see here that ULTY got that payout of 98.25. 90.9825, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So let's go over this right quick on ULTY. 50 shares at 98.25 would yield you $49.13. 100 shares at 98.25 will grant you $98.25. At 500 shares, if you happen to own 500 shares, you would have $491.25 on the 20th as a payout. If you own, did I say? Yeah, 500. Yeah. So 1,000 shares at 98.25 would get you $982.50. If you had 2,000 shares at 98.25, that would be $1,965 on the 20th. 5,000 shares. We getting on up there for you who all got that money. Give me that money. Get that money. All right. So at 98.25 or 5,000 shares would yield you $4,912.50 for the week on September the 20th. Now, for the Grandmaster, the awesome holders who hold 10,000 shares, or if you own it, I would love to get there someday. At 98.25, you would have a grand total of $9,825 as a payout for ULTY as a YieldMax. So those are the three funds that are the funds of funds. Um, YMAX, YMAG are going to be paying out weekly. Um, ULTY will be paying out in Group C of the YieldMax fund, which is about the third week of the month. So that would be the time of the month that you would get paid out for you having to own this particular one, ULTY. It would be in Group C. So that's around about the third week of the month that you get paid out if you own ULTY going forward. But YMAG and YMAX, those are going to be weekly paying, and they will pay out every Friday of the month uh, for the remainder of the year. I don't know what they're going to do for the first of the year, but Jay, I'm sure they'll announce that distribution when it gets here. So, hey, I want to thank you. This is YieldMax Mindset. It's a mindset, people. All right, so if you want to reach out, you can reach out to me at YieldMax Mindset at gmail.com, or you can visit my YouTube channel at YieldMax Mindset. All right, I'm out. Have a great one.